about to explore the greatest place in your life. It's great adventure. Ride the giant Ferris wheel. Look around for miles and miles. See the other rides down below. A place to bring the family. A place where you can really let go. Great adventure is here. It's a place to remember.
Hello there. Take a seat. Join me as I tell you my recent weekend that I had at Six Flags Great Adventure. So to some of you that are unaware, this recent weekend that happened, March 29th and March 30th, was the opening weekend for Six Flags Great Adventure. This park is located in a nice little county, Ocean County of New Jersey. And pretty much this is the big theme park that's around the tri-state area, kind of similar to other parks like Dorney or even Hershey Park. However, this park had a lot of headlines heading into this upcoming season. There were a lot of stuff going on, such as demolition of projects that were taken out, such as Kid Ka and Green Lantern, along with Twister and the parachutes. And basically, the big thing was really underestimated was how many headlines were out there concerning of Green Lantern and Kid Ka's removal and how much that would affect the park's presence. Being a Great Adventure local since growing up as a kid, I had to go check out the park this weekend, especially with their new roller coaster coming out, the Flash Vertical Velocity. And now that the ride is open, the park has opened up, what did I think of everything? Did the park go a little downhill since those coasters came down? Or do I have hope for the future to come, and is Flash the new era coming up for Six Flags Great Adventure? Now, before we really start getting into the weekend, I kind of want to cover some history. So, I live around New Jersey, and growing up as a kid, me and my family used to go to Great Adventure pretty much every weekend. We would also have pretty rare times where it wasn't just my family, but it was my cousin's side, and mom's side of the family, that we would all get together. We would all head to Six Flags Great Adventure to have some quality family time. And through there were a lot of memories that I made growing up as a kid. And seeing the roller coasters have a presence is really what motivated me to go on and conquer my fears. And of course, some rides, specifically Kid Ka, was the big thing to look at. And I was like, I want to go on that one day. And if I felt like I did that, you could conquer anything. Now, growing up, I really had a big fear of going on roller coasters, and I never really got over my fear until I pretty much turned 18 years old. And lo and behold, fast forward a few years later, I really enjoy going to Six Flags Great Adventure, but I also just going on roller coasters in general. They're very fun. They give you an adrenaline rush unlike any other, and it's just such a unique experience that I think some people kind of underestimate and miss out on. So anyways, now fast forward to today in 2025, Great Adventure recently had its 50th anniversary, and it wasn't exactly what Great Adventure was planning out. Now granted, the park really had a tough time during this 50th anniversary because there's a big merger of Cedar Fair with Six Flags, which now is Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. And because of that, their new roller coaster for 2025, which was originally new for 2024, got delayed to now. And so we made our way to Six Flags Great Adventure for its opening weekend. I went alongside my older brother, Evan, who really got me into roller coasters. So me and him had the day planned, and we went to Six Flags Great Adventure. And we got there pretty early, specifically because we had reservations to go on the Flash Vertical Velocity, and we were pretty much excited. And here's some of our thoughts heading into the park.
What's going on, guys? I'm here today with my brother Evan here.
What's going on?
We are here at Six Flags Great Adventure. It's roughly 9:20 right now.
Yep.
And we're one of the first here at the park. So
we've never done this before. We've never been the first ones at the park. So it's kind of interesting to see how it works.
Kind of want to come up with a new strategy, especially since we have a roller coaster opening up today, the Flash Vertical Velocity. So we're really excited to get on this ride. Currently, we have a reservation for 11 a.m. for the exclusive ride time. So looking forward to getting on it.
So some time passes by, then roughly around 9:45, 10 o'clock, they move the cones and we head our way into the park. Now, heading into the park was a big drastic change to the scenery. Something was quite missing, and it was unlike anything we've seen in recent memory. The skyline was completely changed with Great Adventure, and it was just something that we weren't used to really at any point. This was the very first time we got this close in person checking it out. Not seeing Kid Ka there, not seeing Green Lantern there, felt so weird that all now we really saw is just pile of dirt and rubble. I was very much looking forward to the Flash vertical velocity that was opening up. To those of you that are unaware what this model is, this is Vecoma's Super Boomerang roller coaster model, and it became the first Super Boomerang roller coaster model in North America. Jesus, that was a mouthful. The ride has about 7 launches that take you forward and backwards the whole way back. It reaches roughly a max speed of around 59 to 60 miles per hour, and the ride lasts usually about a minute 10 seconds varying. But pretty much as soon as you enter the theme park and you're going to go ahead and just get a glance of everything, Flash was prominent right there, because as soon as you reach the entrance and you get past the security gate, it's right there, it's broad, and it is beautiful looking. Speaking of the scenery around the park and just getting in there, there was kind of a trend that I noticed from several sources online where some people were planning to boycott the park, not show up at all because of these ride removals that happened last minute for Great Adventure. And noticing immediately when we were in the station, the line was piling up like crazy. The lines were going straight back to even near the entrance towards the parking lot. A lot of people are showing up for Great Adventure's opening day, which shows that people are still getting a lot of interest in the park. And then now the big moment, we go through the security gate closer to Flash vertical velocity, and now he's had one more hurdle left, getting through the Stampede.
Stampede!
Now we get to Flash, and we pretty much wait a very long time to get on the ride, because a lot of people really didn't know, or some people didn't know, that you had to have a reservation during that time. Now, after waiting a while, we finally get into the station, put our stuff in the double-sided lockers. I think when it comes to some of the theming on the other rides of the park, or the area in general, Flash did such a great job of doing that. And really, there's still a lot more to come. They still have a lot more theming to put in, but there's a lot that they could do to spruce up the area and to keep it as well coursed as possible. And man, that ride was so fun. Throughout the weekend, I got to go on pretty much like 3 times, and each ride I went on, the more I wanted to go on the ride. The ride is beautifully smooth. Like, it is the smoothest ride I have gone on in a Great Adventure, and it's honestly becoming one of my favorite rides to go on in general at the park. There's just so much that you could take in: the hang time, the air time, the intensity. Even though it's not as intense as like other coasters, say for example like El Toro or Nitro, the ride still has plenty to offer. I had such low expectations, it really blew me through the roof. So Flash vertical velocity was well worth it. I pretty much enjoyed the ride, and I was just really pleasantly surprised that I was finally able to go on this ride after following the construction process for so long.
All right, guys, we just got off of Flash vertical velocity up here. That ride was awesome. It was
absolutely insane.
I cannot believe that. Like, that was very smooth, first of all. I cannot estimate how smooth that ride is. Probably the smoothest in the park. That was very fun.
But Flash vertical velocity was not the only thing new with this park. It was a lot of other things that were pretty much new. We wound up going to Granny's Chicken after we got off of Flash, and that place in there got a big remodel. It just looked beautiful, it looks different, and the food options were pretty much enhanced there too. The big thing I noticed immediately is the food quality looked a lot different. For my order, I got the rotisserie chicken with the homemade mac and cheese that was served with the hush puppies. That's part of the Granny's platter that I got. And then Evan got the hand-breaded chicken tenders with the mac and cheese. And we both thought that our food was very good. Like, I really do think that the food quality got so much better compared to last year. One of our favorite places was Fat Burger, which pretty much had a pretty good burger, nice little patty with fries. But I do think that Granny's food kind of blows that out of the water, in my honest opinion. Anyways, after we go ahead and check out Granny's and the new food options they have there, we went ahead to go ahead and activate our Flash Pass and its benefits for the entire season. And here, I'm just gonna give my honest thoughts about the Flash Pass. So I've used it plenty of times before, whether I bought a one-shot or even used just a Flash Pass for just a single day, and that I'm using it for the whole season. I do think that it is a pain to use it, because you have to go online and you have to reserve like your actual spot on a ride. So you have to like go on click the ride that you want to go on, and then use the QR code to scan in. Meanwhile, like at other places, you just use like a wristband. And I really do hope that since there's the new Cedar Fair and Six Flags merger, that they really do address that. Because before, I don't think I had the biggest issue with it, but now using it like for back-to-back days, man, they really need to fix that. I just need to complain about that. Anyways, though, that is the whole spiel with the Flash Pass. You go on, you reserve. So that's what we kind of tried doing the whole day. Flashed our first ride, then we tried to go ahead and head it towards Medusa. So we head to Medusa, and the first time since like nearly 2 years, they're finally at 2 train operations. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this because I know some people I've talked to have told me that they really do enjoy Medusa. I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest. I'm not going to lie, the ride, I think up until the mid-course brake run is really, really fun and really intense. But the mid-course brake run like kills it because it like jolts you like nearly out of your seat. It's such a rough mid-course brake run. But that's how I feel about Medusa. I will say though, I'll give it a credit. I went near the back row in this time that when we went on the ride. It was actually a better experience than I had the first other time. So then after Medusa, we decided to go ahead and head towards El Toro, since that's now basically the big marquee attraction for Great Adventure. The line was stretching like crazy. The ride was on a 1 train operation, so obviously it wasn't gonna have the best like line. It was gonna be a long wait. But for the fact that the Flash Pass line had such an immense long line, it was definitely going to be like at least nearly an hour, maybe even 50 minutes to wait. So we just bothered like heading to somewhere else just because we didn't think it'd be really worth the wait. So after El Toro, we decided to go ahead and just head towards the back of the park where we were going to go ahead and head on Nitro. And we went on the ride, and while Nitro is probably a top 3 ride at the park for me, this time I felt a little more rougher than usual. Nitro was like pretty a little rough, at least on the ride I went on. And granted, we went towards the back because I thought the back was like a better experience. It gives you like a much more intensity and a much more thrilling ride, whereas like this time it really wasn't. Like I would say when we hit like a couple of the brake runs, I really felt like that like effect, and I was just like, I never feel that on Nitro. So obviously it's the first start of the season. I do expect things to get better later on, and this was the first time I was riding roller coasters in like a few months, so that's just really like how I felt about it. But Nitro still was a thrilling experience on that ride. I love that ride. So then after, we really were deciding on what to do next, because after I got off Nitro, I wasn't really feeling my best. My tolerance for rides was not at what I was hoping for it to be. I was not feeling well after Nitro. So at that point, we were like, we have season passes. We can go back at any time. So we just thought that it was just fine to end the day there. So then I really thought to myself over the night that maybe I should go back tomorrow, because I was really thinking about going back, seeing if anything changes. And so overnight, I thought about it, went to sleep. So the next day comes by, Sunday, March 30th. Went to Great Adventure again just to see what else was happening with the park, see if like anything changed from opening day. And one thing that I did notice immediately when I went there was Superman was completely closed. After our experience yesterday, I really didn't know like what was going to happen with Superman. The ride was on a 1 train operation, and then it got stuck on the lift hill, and I really didn't know if it got back up throughout the whole day yesterday, and it looked like it didn't.
As you can see, Superman Ultimate Flight. There's no trains in the station. I checked earlier on the Flash Pass website. It is closed today, which makes sense. The ride really had a lot of issues yesterday. Right when I was getting on the ride, it got stuck right on the lift hill on top there. So it makes sense that it's closed today.
So that was the immediate first thing I noticed, is that Flash was running a lot better than yesterday, which I was really happy about. Throughout the whole time I was there, from like near the opening of the park to like near closing, the ride was running insanely like well. There were no breakdowns at all, which is a great sight to see. And it looked like the line was holding up very well too. Of course, it did have a lengthy queue. Obviously, it was opening weekend, but it was a little easier to get on, especially with the Flash Pass compared to the previous day. So I go on Flash, and another good experience. I go ahead and venture out to the rest of the park, and here's where things got pretty interesting. So after going on a ride of Dark Knight and Skull Mountain, Joker breaks down before going to Skull Mountain. So I'm like, okay, go to Skull Mountain. Then after Skull Mountain, it's back up. So I go to Joker, and then I head on Joker, wait a little bit with the Flash Pass, get on the ride, and then as it's going up on the lift hill, I get stuck. While I was going up on the lift hill, all I could hear was a like click, 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 and then a lock. And at that point, I'm like, this was the very first time I actually got stuck on a roller coaster. So part of me was really nervous because the thing about Joker, it's a 40 free fly spin. So I was really nervous that my seat was gonna like tilt back further or hang upside down, which I was not wanting to do because it's honestly pretty scary, that ride. So the way I was at, I was like kind of at a slight angle, just chilling there for about roughly 5 to 6 minutes. They counted it down and they got it to go back up, little beep noise, and then we were able to complete the whole course. I don't know if I'll be going on Joker anytime soon because of like that experience, but I will say, even though it was probably one of the most scariest things I've ever been through, it was also one of the most thrilling coaster experiences I ever had.
I've never been stuck on a ride before, and this is the very first time. That was honestly scary. That was pretty fun though.
So then after going through Joker, I go ahead and check out other rides of the park, such as El Toro, which is, as usual, intense, very crazy. Then we went ahead and visited Yum Yum Cafe, which had a big renovation. And like Granny, it also had some enhanced food options. And there I tried the Brussels sprouts, which is their seasonal vegetable that they have. And for a theme park, that was some pretty good Brussels sprouts. The burger was also a double patty too, which also added to the flavor as well. So I thought like overall, across the board, not only at Granny's, but at Yum Yum Cafe, the food options got increasingly better. So then after Yum Yum Cafe, I wanted to go on Flash one more time. And after going on it for the third time in that weekend, it was such a fun experience. And the more I think about it, the more I want to go on it. It's starting to become probably my favorite ride at the park just because of how smooth it is, the experience, and how like even though I've gone on it so many times, there's moments where I don't expect it to be so intense, and it's so intense. So that's all I have to say about Flash. If you're coming to Great Adventure, it's a must-ride attraction. I cannot recommend it like highly enough. Then after meeting up with Flash, getting a nice little talk and greet, we went ahead and went to Justice League Battle for Metropolis, where I went ahead and got a top 2% score of all time, probably better than the other scores I've gotten whenever I've been on that ride. So overall, I thought that Sunday of that weekend, the second day of opening weekend, I really thought that the park was operating a lot more smoothly than the previous day before. The operations were a lot better. None of the rides really broke down as often as yesterday. And I really thought the services and all the workers there, everyone was really friendly, and I didn't have much of a bad experience at all. Even though that there were a lot of rides that got taken down, it really felt nice to go back and to get on all these roller coasters. And I think Flash is going to be such a hit with the general public. So if you're ever in that area or ever considering going to Great Adventure, head there, support the park, because it's going to really help with their future, especially since they're going to get a lot of investment in the years to come. A lot of things have changed for the better. Flash is a great ride. Definitely go check that out. The food options there are a lot better and a little cheaper than usual. And that's really all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me about your experiences at other theme parks. And I'll see you guys at some point soon. Thank you very much.